Hey guys, what's up? It's Ethan Elbling, and I'm here to do a review of Ingesting Putridity by Visceral Disgorge. This is Visceral Disgorge's debut release, and it was released on June 6th of this year through Amputated Vein Records, clocking in at about 45 minutes with 9 tracks, the shortest track being 3 minutes and 38 seconds, and the longest track being 5 minutes and 56 seconds. This release is definitely one for an ear for brutal/slam death metal. They play a style of slamming brutal death metal that has its roots in the blasting and mid-pace, and then slams occasionally, but enough to give it the slam death metal tag, but not enough to make it an oversaturated clone of other bands that exist now. Slam death metal is definitely a difficult genre at the moment to get a name big out in because of the oversaturation and the amount of bands they're playing the same type of material. And Visceral Disgorge is not one of those bands. Definitely an original slamming brutal death metal band. This release is going to be in my top 10 of 2011, and it might be in yours if you're interested in this, even remotely interested in the genre of slam death metal, brutal death metal. So I highly advise checking this out. Every track has its own flavor that makes it its own track. A lot of times bands like this can sometimes blend each track together, and you'll listen to a whole album, and once the album's done you wonder where the memorable riffs were. You don't remember any vocal passages, any drum passages. Nothing really makes it stick out besides the samples in between or during the songs. And Visceral Disgorge does not do that. Visceral Disgorge, every song is its own serving. Each song has its own riffs, has its own vocal passages, at times has samples, but every song starts on its own and finishes on its own, and it's like its own piece. And they're all combined into this collective of pieces in Ingesting Putridity, rather than just having one semi-interesting idea that goes for 9 tracks. This album has an interesting idea every track, and that's what really makes it stand out. So the long song lengths are definitely deserved for the amount of maturity and the amount of growth that each song has to possess to make it original and interesting. I had the luxury of seeing this band live back in June, a few days after the album was released, and I picked up this shirt there from the band. Awesome musicians, awesome guys. Just even for that alone, they're just great, talented performers, and they sounded album quality live, which is something that a lot of bands definitely need to get their act together doing. Because I've seen some great acts, I've seen some bad acts, but this band was just completely fluent and fluid live as they were on the album, which is great. Now, this band, riff-wise, has a lot of catchy, interesting riffs. They lie in sometimes the faster-paced chugging riffs to the mid-paced, kind of slam death metal-esque riffs. A lot of pitch harmonic use, kind of like a guttural secret or a gortuary. So if you're into those two bands, definitely check this one out. A lot more slam than those two bands, of course, but riff-wise, they do a lot of pitch harmonics. They do a lot of fast to mid-paced riffs, and they space the slams out accordingly. A lot of bands nowadays in slam death metal, in that genre, they slam way too much, making each slam lose its effect and lose its intensity. Whereas Visceral Disgorge has a lot of mid-paced parts, they build up to the slam, they release the slam, they put it away, they build up to it again, and then they slam again. And that's how a band should do it. They use those mid-paced and fast-paced parts to build up to the slam, mature their ideas, and then they slam, give you the wonderful, sweet, candy sweet, just heavy slam that you're waiting for, then it jumps you right back into the brutality, which is how a band should do it. It's a never-ending onslaught of incredible riffs and of incredible just songwriting in a genre that needs that originality. Riff-wise, awesome. Production-wise, incredible. The guitars just sound so crushing, so crunchy, so beefy. There's absolutely no air to breathe when you listen to this release. Everything is so tightly compact, but in such a wide space where you don't feel suffocated like a lot of bands do with their production. You can breathe freely, but just enough for you to get a full breath in, because everything is very tightly packed, very tight. There's no sloppiness on this album whatsoever. The bass you can hear at times on its own, but a lot of times it's just following the guitar riffs, which is perfectly fine. That's kind of a standard in this genre. Not much to say there, but he's a talented bassist when I saw them live, talented musicians, so I can't deny that, of course, no one can. Great job. And the drum work is awesome. Super tight, not reinventing the wheel at all, but definitely not going back into the kind of the model set forth by the genre. Doing his own thing. A lot of great blast work, really, really good mid-paced work. The double pedals are constantly pounding against your head, and when they do slow down, it's just enough for you to relax for a split second before they go right back into blasting you, crushing you with the cymbal work. Just overall, the drum tone alone just sounds so spectacular. No trash can tone, which is, I'm a fan of the trash can tone, but I know a lot of people that aren't. Everything sounds great. The snare sounds poppy and fresh. The cymbals sound crushing and delicate, yet just it's just like abrasive at the same time. Definitely want to check this out because the production job alone is very clean, very, 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 very good. A lot of berries there, but that's why. Every musician in this band owns their instrument and they're able to do their own thing on it, and it's incredibly impressive. The vocalist sounded just as good on the album as he did live, live as he did on the album, sorry, completely mixed up. Awesome style, no mid-range, no highs, not even many growls, it's just all gutturals, and it's a very liquidy, chocolatey guttural style. He just enunciates well, and he knows where to place his lyrics. He doesn't just gurgle and grunt, not gurgle and grunt, gurgle and do gutturals over the whole track. He spaces them out, and he fluently mixes with the guitars, the bass, and the drums, and he's able to make his own niche in the production without being too over to the top and without being too under the production. He's there, and he mixes with all the other instruments, and he himself is another instrument, which is awesome. It's not another constant, barfing on the mic. He does a great job, and he knows when to space things out. And a lot of memorable vocal passages, a lot of memorable slams, a lot of memorable everything, and that's what this album screams. It's just very memorable, and every song has a very memorable part about it that makes it stick in your head, and it makes it stand above the rest. Definitely check this band out. I highly advise ordering this album, getting a t-shirt, getting the t-shirt in the album, or just saying good job to the guys, because they're great musicians, all of them, and they definitely deserve the praise that great bands deserve. So I'm going to put a link to their Facebook down below, the Severed Records link down below, Empty the Vein link down below, and just check out this album, check out this band. 9 out of 10 for me. It's almost perfect, but there's always room for improvement. I just don't know where it is yet, but for sure one of my favorites of 2011. Check it out. Stunning Brutal Death Metal band, Visceral Disgorge, Ingesting Putridity, Empty the Vein Records. Get on it. It's fucking awesome.